Guess what? It's back. We got this back from Plastic Blasting and Laser. Let's take a look at what this car looks like. This is the first time that I have ever had any plastic blasting done or laser work. So first of all, let's just take a really quick look here. I ended up, since it came back, I started cleaning up around the window. I cleaned up seam sealer here. And if you take a look, the plastic blasting, anything that was covered at all, it didn't touch it. And if we take a look at the front here, seam sealer, no touching. Doesn't do anything with it. And the interesting thing, so we have some seam sealer here. I will have to pry that off, but if you look here, these welds, you can see that is the factory discoloring from the spot welds. Doesn't even touch that. So from normal blasting, you know, this thing usually looks pretty, I guess, you know, pretty monocolor, we'll call it. Everything usually looks the exact same. But this really cleared off to the actual bare metal. And, you know, I guess we'll take a look inside at the floor here. So the floor, I knew that there was rust in here, and this we might have to make a patch for. It's got a bit of texture to it from the rust, but we'll take a look. That's a minor deal. Back here, you can kind of see a little bit of texture, but barely anything at all. Like it is, you know, kind of rusty looking, which is interesting because that, if we sandblasted, would be totally the same color. So you can see all the welds in here. This literally looks like it was the original metal before they put any coating on it. So very interesting. Yeah, and this here, you know, seam sealer, not touched. So we're gonna have to take and clean up all of that stuff. And as well, in these spots here, we are going to have to take and spot blast this and in the front. And on the driver's side, I knew that there was some damage. You can definitely see, didn't touch the rust at all, doesn't color anything with the rust. So we need to patch those parts of the floor there. There are some small pinholes in it. Now, just for interest sake, with the lasering, so he didn't touch that, but in the roof, it was really rusty. It was like a furry mess of rust. And they lasered it, and it still has a texture to it, but it's kind of turned it black. Now, I know nothing about lasering. It'd be really sweet to be able to watch it happen. I know there's a few videos on it and stuff, but the lasering, I mean, it did definitely, this looked terrible, and it looks a lot better. Now, having said that, I wish it was a little cleaner, so I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to talk to the body shop on what we're doing. This car's getting a vinyl, but I am not blasting that roof. So when he purchased this car, the guy told him that it was a rust-free car before he got it. Now, doing the work that we have, we noticed that there was some repair work and whatever, and man, there is some real ugly hidden. The body work on this thing is just terrible. I mean, terrible. The patches and the quarter panel, terrible. Like, ay. But luckily, we have new quarter panels, so we're gonna be putting quarter panels on. You know, cleaning a car to bare metal shows up a lot of stuff. We're gonna have to do some repairs back here in this panel, just in this corner. It's got some rust. The rest of it, I mean, it looks pretty good. And we knew that the tail panel was in terrible shape. I had remade this whole center, but I didn't touch this side. And the reason I didn't touch it was because this here was all covered in seam sealer. And you can see that someone put a patch in here, but it is absolutely a terrible patch. So I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to deal with this. Probably cut it out. And then in the trunk floor here, I am going to take and do some actual sandblasting. It is really thick material. There's no problem with it at all. But I don't know. I am just so impressed with that plastic blast. So, yeah, and you can see the seam sealer here. So we're going to be working at trying to get this car all cleaned up. Now, plastic blasting and lasering. I don't know so much about the lasering, but the plastic blasting, it does not warp the body panels at all. And I mean, the body work on this quarter panel, I mean, it got hit here pretty bad. It is terrible. You can feel it. But up in the spots where this thing was just blasted and it didn't have any work, I haven't put a straight edge across, but it feels very, very, very good. I feel no warpage on a big panel like this. And I'll flip the roof up and we'll take a look at what that looks like. All right, we have the car on its side. And if you take a look here, I haven't felt the roof at all. But you know what? I'm going to put a straight edge on this thing and check it. But I mean, you can feel the little bits of glue on this thing, but this roof just feels like absolutely beautiful. I'll probably put some straight edges on it and stuff to check it, but it's amazing. It's got some weird discoloration. That is just discoloration. There is nothing wonky feeling about this roof at all. It's actually amazing. So on this car here, there was foam over top of the filler, and some of that foam is still in there. I'm assuming there's going to be lead in here. We'll take a look. And obviously someone else did some really awesome body work, but new quarters are going to fix that. The bottom of this car, I mean, it is in just wonderful shape. Of course, we're going to have to do that little bit of touch blasting, but like, I mean, it is just bare metal. I'm actually kind of in awe of what this looks like. Now, for interest's sake, this is plastic blast. And if we take a look here, it almost feels like sand, but definitely softer. And you can see that it's kind of big chunks of plastic. Very, very interesting. Like colorful sand. So far, if I was looking at this thing again, doing this to it, definitely I would do the plastic blasting. Not so sure about the laser. We'll talk to the people that are painting it. And wow, look at that. So you can see here is bare metal, and the rocker panels on this car, they are actually galvanized. So it is, you can actually see the original galvanizing. That is really cool. And of course, you know, once you get something sandblasted, we're going to have to clean the crap out of this, because like anything, even like sandblasting, when you go to paint this, you can't have that stuff coming out of the cracks. Steve did an awesome job. I'm super stoked to get at this. Like, I mean, it is cleaned up. I have another car booked to get this done. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that there's no seam sealer or anything, so that the whole car gets stripped. Looking forward to that. Now, we're going to throw Steve's info in down below. So if anyone's interested in getting work like this done, they can. Now, I'm not sure if anyone has experience with plastic blasting or if there's any other suggestions, but so far I'm really liking this. Now on the laser part, I don't know, I'm a little bit disappointed. Steve had a guy come in to do that, and I don't know if you guys have any more experience with the laser stuff. Maybe it wasn't a big enough laser. I don't know. Does laser warp? Maybe they had to keep the heat down on it or whatever. But I'd really like you to throw that in the comments, because I really don't know. This was the first for me. So this definitely was a lot easier than stripping it down by hand, and a lot easier on bodywork not having it sandblasted. If you have any extra advice for me or questions or comments, drop those down below. And if you don't mind, please like, share, and subscribe. And there's that hype button. That would be awesome too. Thanks for watching.